Hey everybody, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 88. My name is Rico. I'm here with my co-host,
Mr. Dane Cody.
Mr. Dane, smoking, shooting, kicking butt Dane Cody.
Abso-friggin-lutely.
If you have never been here before, welcome. Returning listeners, thank you for your continued support. We get together once a week, talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever the hell we like. We get into some news. Or actually, I've already screwed that up. We start the show with...
Jeez.
We start the show with the designated drinking section, where Dane...
Arguably the most important part of the show.
Yeah, where Dane shares his delectable delight that he's sipping on this episode. Randomly, like a lottery winning. I may be drinking something, but not today. I always aim to disappoint. Then we get into what you've been playing, talk about some news, do some public service announcements, share with you friends so you don't miss out on some good deals or freebies or goings-ons in the video game and world. And then we get into our free-for-all section where we talk about whatever the hell we like. So, yeah, Dane, what are you drinking?
Irish Mist.
Irish Mist. Oh, the luck of the Irish.
Aye, it's an Irish Mist.
Is it like Irish
I think
Springs?
you'd like it, actually. It's a honey whiskey from Ireland. It's a little bit sweet. It's about 35% alcohol, so not crazy overpowering, but also not weak and girly. Not that girlies are weak. But
so you're saying I like girly drinks? Huh?
No, it's just a little bit sweet. It's really nice. I'm actually having it over some rocks with just a splash of some lime juice, and it's nice. It's really nice.
Cool.
My wife picked it up at duty free a while ago, and I was looking for something a little different, so I thought I'd open it and give it a try. And yeah, it's nice. I like it. It's quite tasty. So there you go.
Speaking of rocks, we had family Christmas party this weekend.
Nice.
And we had like a Secret Santa.
Oh, yeah.
That we do, and usually it's themed, and it's also like the type Secret Santa where you can steal gifts and stuff.
Oh, it's the bad Santa.
It's fun.
Awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Usually one of the little kids always ends up crying because someone steals their gift. It's actually like some people's like goal is to try and make the little kids cry. It's pretty great.
That's awesome.
Anyway, speaking of rocks, I got freaking ice cube trays to make big ass drinking whiskey rocks.
Nice.
So it came with like the little plastic snap together thing to make the big round balls.
Yeah, man, those are awesome.
You know, big balls.
Make yourself some nice Scotch balls.
And also like the giant cubes. Like if you want to go the cube route as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is really cool because now I have the proper utensil. And of course, it was in the dishwasher, so I didn't get to filling it soon enough because I was going to hopefully sip on something tonight. But
oh, come on. Anybody that listens to this podcast knows that you're just...
No, but now I have the proper shit to drink my Hennessy and my other fancy stuff.
Very nice, man.
Because I was doing it with like shit cubes, which would like water it down.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
That's no good.
It's not good at all.
No.
It's just bad.
So I can pretend
bad juju.
I can pretend to be a professional drinker.
Sweet.
Yeah. Did you get up to much this weekend? I played shit all, to be honest. I had 2 Christmas parties, went to Butcher Gardens, and saw Rogue One. So like every night was super busy.
Yeah, I was trying to like think about this earlier on. I was trying to figure out what on earth I got up to. I felt super busy, and I did not play nearly enough video games, that's for sure. There was... Friday, I think, was just a bit of a write-off because my wife and I were super tired. And they were both up really early. My wife wasn't feeling great. A bunch of Christmas stuff that we just did during the day. You know how it is. You go do some shopping. I had to drop off, oh yes, my car troubles. So there was that. My car was in the shop. some malls because we hate ourselves.
Yeah, I didn't have to do any of that nonsense.
And then we did some fun Christmas stuff actually with Vert Nash on Sunday night. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, yes, Saturday. Oh, man. There was the coffee shop that we go and get the awesome coffee from in North Vancouver, Moja Coffee. They were having they do 2 sales a year where they do $10 bags of coffee. One of them is in December, right before Christmas, and the other one is in June. And so we were there on Saturday, and we bought, I think, 15 or 16 bags of coffee.
Whoa!
Yeah. Well, because they're normally $15 a bag, right?
Oh, nice.
So you're saving a lot. We send a bunch of them out as Christmas presents to people. And then, of course, we were the ones that were there. So friends are like, oh, can you pick me up a couple bags?
I saw some tweets on Twitter of people going, hey, grab me a bag.
Yeah. So, and again, it's like so cheap. So people, grab me 3 bags when they'd normally maybe get 1 or something, right? So that was good. That was awesome. Always good to get the nice mojo. We were out of coffee at the time, so that was kind of important. But yeah, I honestly did not play much of anything. I did actually get up to some Chrono Trigger, which is seemingly random and out of the blue. But if you listened in last week, we talked a ton about
it last week.
We talked a ton about Final Fantasy 15 and various other games, and it kind of I've had an itch to sort of play a JRPG, and after our discussion, I went and did some digging, realized that I had the Final Fantasy Chronicles, as it's called, for the PlayStation 1, which included Final Fantasy 5 and Chrono Trigger. Now, I wanted to play Final Fantasy 6, but seeing as I didn't have it, and seeing as I somehow missed playing Chrono Trigger back in the day, I figured that was a great place to start. So I loaded that into my PS3, because I still have that connected and hooked up, and started playing some Chrono Trigger. And I've heard that that's a fairly good version of the game. I don't know. I know that they've added in some cutscenes, some anime-style cutscenes into the game that were not obviously originally there. But I have also heard that some of the load times in it were not the best. But it was the one that I had, and it was quote-unquote free at the moment, meaning I've obviously paid for the game previously, and I don't need to pay for it again right now. So I started that. That's a really good game. Now, everybody
how
that
far
listens,
did you get in?
I went back in time once, and now I'm back in the in the current time. So you get sucked back into the past and save, I guess, the queen is sort of the first bit where you go and save the queen, and then you end up traveling back to your time again. Yeah. And that's kind of where I left. So it was 2 or 3 hours.
I played that game so long ago. I got to so for anyone out there, I guess the spoiler embargo is kind of up on Chrono Trigger.
I think 1995 is sort of,
Not really going to spoil too much stuff, but it's like a top-down... It is a top-down role-playing game by Square.
It's very much in the Final Fantasy style. But one thing that's interesting is, unlike Final Fantasy games, there isn't random encounters. You see enemies.
You see the enemies, and it's...
and it doesn't go into like a full battle view either. It just
like...
You see the HUD kind of pop up,
right?
and exactly, and it just, you attack, and it all happens right there.
It's semi-real time, because you can control your guys, right? Around? I can't remember.
No.
Or is it all turn-based?
It's all turn-based. There's
no
timers.
moving. There's no moving and avoiding. Okay, no. I couldn't remember.
No moving or avoiding.
Yeah.
So,
multi-party. Yep. 3 members or more? I think it's 3.
currently I have 3 members in my
I
party.
think all you can have is 3. I can't remember how many characters are in the game. There's quite a few.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I had a frog in my party for a while, and then he left. So he left right now, and I went back to the current time. That's the other thing, is it's a time travel game.
Yeah,
you travel
that's what
back
I was
and
getting
forth
at about the
in
spoilers.
time.
It's multiple timelines, future, past, present, change stuff when you travel through time, which is kind of neat.
That is a game I kind of forgot, in a way, how difficult RPGs from the past were. It's been so long since I've played one. And I'm not saying it's difficult in the enemies are hard or whatever. That stuff's fairly fine. I haven't had like too much of an issue with that. But what I mean is the things that you kind of forget, like initially when I had a little bit of money before I went into the past and I went off kind of on my quest and went into the forest and attacked some dudes and got all into it, I stopped in at the store in the town and I picked up a couple health potions because I'm an hour into the game. I'm a half an hour into the game. I'm nowhere in the game yet. So I'm like, I'll grab 4 or 5. I don't have a whole lot of money right now, so I'll buy 5 health potions. That should be fine for now. And man, that was almost a bad decision. It worked out for me, but it was real touch and go towards the end when I was fighting the boss, if you will, for that section. One of my characters was down. I was used up all my health potions. I was just hoping that I was going to be able to finish it.
I can't remember how hard that game was or wasn't.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's not so much that it's actually hard. It was just getting back into that mentality of, okay, I need to make sure I've always got 10 or 20 health potions. I need to make sure I've got some revives. I need to make sure, I feel like nowadays they kind of coddle you a bit more. There's spells that you can cast and it helps you regenerate health, and in between battles you automatically regenerate, things like that. Whereas this time in that game, if you attack and you get into a battle, whatever was going on at the end of that battle carries over into the next battle. So or even just walking around. So if you end up getting poisoned, you've got to use an antidote. Otherwise, just wandering around, you could kill yourself.
You end up killing.
Things like that generally speaking in RPGs and things nowadays, especially in the JRPG style games, when you walk away from a battle, that's more or less that, right?
Yeah.
So it's all those little things that I'd kind of forgotten about, that playing this again was a good, oh yeah, right, I gotta do that. So
yeah, there's a little more tedium in those games. A lot of stuff is not automated like in some of the newer RPGs,
and no hand holding at all. That is one thing. They're so vague about what to do and where to go next in that game. There was a moment where I finished and I saved the queen and I talked to the king and he said, "Oh, thanks a lot. This is great." I talked to the queen and she said, "Oh, thanks a lot. This is great. I wonder what happened to that girl that you saw earlier." And I was like, "I don't know." And then somebody else in my party was like, "Okay, we should get going." And I was like, "Sweet." So I wandered, I fought a bunch of dudes, I went back to where I thought I needed to go, and nothing happened. So then I was sitting there going, well, now where do I go? What do I do? So then I went back to town, and I hit up all the places just to make sure I didn't miss anything, which of course I didn't. So then I went, and I was backtracking, and I went all the way back to the palace, talked to the king and the queen, and they of course said the same thing. Finally, I went back to the queen's room, and sure enough, that's where the girl from earlier rematerialized, and there was a conversation that happened, and then she joined me, and then I was able to get back to the present. But little things like that, where there was no real indication of where to go or to get her to come back again. It was like in a nonchalant sort of half tone. Oh, I wonder what happened to that girl. And that was it. It wasn't like you should figure out what happened to that girl, or maybe you should go see if she's back yet, or nothing like that. Just so
that was the best.
Yeah.
Not really the best. All RPGs, even RPGs today, still kind of do that. Some of them have gotten better with the questing systems to remind you where to go, or the big freaking pointer on the screen.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like the Witcher, for example, The Witcher 3 does an awesome job of pretty much just, hey, if you want, you go here, and either this is exactly where you need to go, or this is the area that you need to go in order to finish whatever it is, or find whatever it is, or talk to whoever it is. And I mean, if it's somebody that you need to talk to, it will actually show you who you need to talk to.
Yeah. It'll be highlighted over their head.
Exactly. So it's definitely, and I understand nowadays, I think that they need to do that just because the fact that they're so much bigger and so much more complex, and you can talk to 50 different people in one town alone.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in, Chrono Trigger, for example,
less,
there's 10 people total that you can talk to in the town.
I remember quite often, not Chrono Trigger specifically, but playing like old Final Fantasies, Dragon Warrior, and so forth.
Secret of Mana, whatever.
Yeah, where you would just get into a loop of like, oh, god damn it, I took one day off.
That. What the hell?
I'm like,
now what am I doing?
Yeah, where do I go? I'm stuck in a circle here, and then you got to talk to every single person and go in every nook and cranny, and it's so frustrating. And that was before the days of the internet, where you could just like pull up a thing. Oh, I just got to go here.
See, that's the one thing that I'm actually really thankful for now, is the fact that, yes, some people might say, hey, that's kind of cheating or whatever. But the thing is I don't have the time that I did when I was 8 or 10 or 12 to sit there and
I don't blame you. There was some just bad game design on some of these games, so you would end up getting stuck. Because they didn't highlight the importance of the mention. Like you said, they mentioned the girl. But in newer games, they'll like, the text will be a different color at the very least. Or something. It's
or
like,
they would tell you exactly,
this
why don't you go upstairs and see what happened if that girl is back, or they would word it something like that. Some indication to tell you should go upstairs and check out what's going on up there. In this, it was just, I wonder what happened to that girl.
But you're liking it?
Yeah.
It's got dope music. I remember
it's got awesome music. It really does.
Chrono Trigger is really good.
It's great. It's a game that I'm glad I'm playing again. It may take me a while because I don't know.
I think the easiest way to play it, if anyone's thinking about playing it or wanting to go back and play it because you've already played it, would probably be the Vita version.
Is there actually a Vita version?
Well,
I know there's a 3DS version.
It's not Vita. It's like PSP, but playable on Vita. So you can just go in the store and buy it right on the Vita.
Okay, because I know there's a...
It's a DS version, not a 3DS version.
There's a DS version. But that one's... Isn't that the one that's all 3D and everything now?
No. No. The version you have on the PlayStation is the same version that's on the 3DS.
Okay.
On the DS, sorry. Because they added those cutscenes on the cart as well. I think... They also may have added another dungeon, even newer than that one, because I think that one came out after, but I can't remember exactly. There's several versions of it. Obviously, Super Nintendo's the original.
Yeah.
Then PlayStation, and then, of course, PSP, but DS in 2008.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I remember that version. I thought for some reason that version had, or was it another game I'm thinking about that got a full 3D remake?
No, Chrono Trigger hasn't been remade.
Okay. Maybe it was one of the Final Fantasies then that got...
it was probably one of the older Final Fantasies on the collection, I think, was done 3D, something like that.
Yeah, on the 3D, or on the... Not the 3DS, sorry, on the DS, it's a full... maybe it's Final Fantasy 3.
Apparently, I'm reading this, Chrono Trigger has been ported to mobile phones, so I assume it's on iOS and Android.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, iOS, Android, and then the Virtual Console on Wii, so I assume that this applies to Wii U. And then PlayStation Network, which is where I was playing that Vita. I don't think you can play it on PS3 or PS4 or anything, though. I started it. I think it was on my last...
your face. That's exactly what I'm doing.
It was my last trip. It's funny because it's the same time frame last year. I can't remember if I mentioned it on the podcast. I started playing it on the Vita when we went to New York.
Oh, okay.
And that was last year, around just after Christmas.
Right.
It's a good game. Man.
It's a really good game. I'm liking it. It's scratching that itch that I had to play a great JRPG, and yeah, it's scratching that itch. And like I said, it's probably going to take me a while, and I know I have anybody that listens to the podcast is probably yelling at their microphone or their headphones or whatever they're listening to it on, saying, "What the hell? Dane starts so many games and doesn't finish any of them." And that's true. I do. But
I think you're
I
better
gotta
at cleaning them up than I am, though.
I'm trying. I'm trying really hard, and I play what I feel like. I go through phases where I want to play an RPG. I'll go through phases where I want to play first-person shooters. So this right now is perfect. I didn't pick up Final Fantasy 15, so this is sort of a way to scratch that itch for me.
I was gonna say, you kind of reminded me. That's literally all I'm playing right now is JRPGs. Pokemon and Final Fantasy 15. They're both JRPGs.
Yeah, super true.
One maybe a little. Well, I was gonna say one maybe more intense or in depth or deeper than the other, but that's not true. Pokemon has a shitload of depth. Actually, speaking of Pokemon, for all you guys concerned, I did end up getting my female Poplio.
Oh, very nice.
The day after we recorded, and I'm about halfway through my second playthrough on the Sun version.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've played through Moon, now you're playing through Sun?
Yeah, I'm playing through Sun and just going through getting the exclusives on that version. I'm nowhere near completing the Pokedex.
You're weak, man.
I
expect more from you.
I got a pretty good team in Sun right now, though, and I've got them all happiness all the way up, which is kind of nice. In Pokemon Sun and Moon, they have the Poke Refresh, because I know you guys all care about this, what I'm talking about right now. It's where you can feed and tend to your Pokemon's injuries. So that's one cool thing they added in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I don't know if I mentioned it before. If you get poisoned or confused or like other status paralyzed, other status effects on your Pokemon,
yeah.
After battle, you had to use, like you said in Chrono Trigger, you had to use your antidotes and heals and so forth.
Right.
In Pokemon Sun and Moon, if you go to Poke Refresh, you actually get like little dabber and like I don't know, they look like what the hell do they look like? It's like a cotton ball and these little shit.
A bingo dabber?
No. Why can't I'm having like a total brain fart right now. Anyway, you get a little tool. It's like a medical tool, like if you're cleaning out like an injury or something. Okay. With like a little cotton ball on the end of it, and you can just basically rub the stylus over the Pokemon, and then you heal them of their injuries, so you don't have to waste supplies on them, which is kind of cool. And then they get happy, and their happiness goes up, and then you can feed them, and their happiness goes up, and then you can pet them.
Hey Rick, what are you doing? Nothing, just sitting here rubbing my Pokemon,
petting my Pokemons, and yeah, they get happier. And
I'm sure they do when you rub them.
There's 5 levels. There's like these little 5 hearts, these bars that indicate how full they are, how happy they are, and their enjoyment. You know how good you're petting your Pokemon.
Yeah, you rub that Pokemon.
I think at 3 hearts, you start getting little benefits. They might dodge attacks randomly. They might not get affected by status affecting attacks and so forth. But when you get them up to 5. It's really 5 hearts, and they like fully like in love with you or like you or happy with you.
Okay,
it's pretty cool because quite often they'll hit more critical attacks. They'll withstand like a death blow, like they won't die. They'll have like 1 HP left.
Oh, nice.
And and or they'll just dodge stuff because they'll look at you and it's like, Pikachu avoided the attack because you yelled at him at the last second. And so it's like a neat little tweak when your team really likes you. They're a little better.
Interesting. Okay,
and
that's a cool idea.
And I got Mimiku. I think that's his name. I don't know if you've seen him in any of the reveals of new Pokemon. He looks like a Pikachu, but he's actually like a ghost with like a Pikachu costume that he made, and it's got like a scribbled on face. So don't actually know what he looks like. He looks really cute. Like if you see a picture of him, but he looks like a little ghost version of Pikachu.
That's cool.
Ghost
to chew.
Oh, I don't know. Is that really what he looks like? There's a little picture here. I don't think that's what he looks like. That's probably like a fan drew that up. Yeah. Because I don't know what he really looks like. But he's like a little ghost under a little costume that looks like Pikachu. Anyway, he's got this ability called Disguise. He's super OP.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when he gets attacked, basically his disguise breaks. So you get like a free hit with him.
Oh.
So like doesn't matter.
Come in handy.
No, it's super handy. Like they can do a super ultimate or some other crazy attack, and basically you get a free hit with him, and then his disguise gets broken. It's kind of funny. It makes this little snap noise, and then the head like falls over because there's nothing in the head. Whatever he really looks like, he's like a little ghost in the body of the little costume that he's made.
Right.
He's really cute. Anyway.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
He could be super terrifying underneath because they don't show what he looks like. But yeah, he's super OP. He's pretty awesome.
Sounds like he would be helpful to have on your team.
Yeah, no, like that ability is pretty cool. Yeah, so enough Pokemon. Still playing that. And still playing Final Fantasy 15, but I didn't play that much.
Right.
So I don't really have anything to add there.
Outside of the fact that you're still playing it, you still like it?
Yeah, I'm still playing it, and I still like it. I guess the big thing would be Super Mario Run. That came out on iOS. So
I played the first 3 levels. I downloaded it to the iPad at work.
Oh, you have an iPad at work. Nice.
Well, I mean, we try to have pretty much anything that we support. We try to have at work so that if somebody calls in and they're saying, hey, how do I do this? We can kind of walk them through it by doing it at the same time on our end. Mm-hmm. So I downloaded it on there. Actually, one of the other guys at work actually downloaded it on there, but I was playing it on there. It's interesting. I think it's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Super simplistic. You tap the screen, Mario jumps.
Obviously, you guys didn't buy it, right? Like,
no, we didn't buy it.
Yeah,
we were just playing like I said, the first 3 levels is what I played. I loaded
it up on my wife's phone because she's got an iPhone.
And yeah, it's on one hand, it's beautiful. I think it's one of the prettiest looking games.
Looks gorgeous.
But yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed to find out that if you don't tap the screen to jump over an enemy, he'll do it automatically. So I was kind of disappointed because I figured that would be part of what makes the game fun and sort of difficult. But I kind of understand where I get the feeling that this is more got to do with the red coins in the levels or the coins just in general after having played through the levels a few times, and at the end it does a tally of what coins you get and which red coins you get and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. There's 30 levels, correct? Altogether?
I don't know how many levels there are.
I think there's 30. And
sure.
I played through 3 in a matter of maybe a minute a level. Maybe? Like, they're pretty short. So, my consensus after playing only 3 levels was that $10 is a steep price that they're asking for this thing.
Yeah, it's been...
That's my consensus. If this was $2, heck yeah. I think that would be fine. But I think asking $10 for this thing is a bit of a stretch for that price point. There are games that are going on sale on Steam and on the PlayStation Network and on Xbox Live that are full-ass games for $10. And this feels very much like a mobile game that you may or may not play for, I don't know, an hour or two, and you may or may not ever touch it again.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I think it's neat. I didn't buy it because I don't have an iPhone.
Right.
I'll probably buy it on Android when it comes out. I did enjoy what I played, but it is definitely... This is a mobile game. Now, it's a pretty decent mobile game. It does lack...
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very good looking.
It's definitely one of the prettiest games I think I've ever seen on any platform.
I guess
it's really pretty.
My main complaint would be, like you said, it's short. It's lacking any real depth. I guess the whole point of the game is collect all the pink coins, and then you get the...
Well, apparently each
the purple
level...
coins, and then you get the black coins, and the levels kind of change a little bit in terms of the layout on the coins. And
apparently, like you said, there's 3 sets of coins, so when you collect all of the first 3, then it changes, and the purple coins are in different locations than the red coins were. And the same thing for the black coins, I guess.
It controls well.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. I understand where they wanted to make something new specifically for mobile and takes advantage of touch and is designed around touch.
Oh, for sure.
Day one already outpaced Pokemon Go in terms of downloads.
I'm wondering how many of those downloads actually ended with people buying it, though.
I don't know. At this point, they've talked... I think apparently they're over 40 million downloads, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. But again, 40 million downloads, but if only 5 people actually bought it, which I mean, obviously that's not the case.
I'm pretty sure saying, it's going to do all right. Nintendo's stock went down because of reviews on like the App Store haven't been good. But I think a lot of the reviews are just complaining about the price.
A lot of people downloaded it thinking it was a free-to-play game and didn't realize after 3 levels that they had to pay $10 for the game.
And then they were upset that it was like $10.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, after playing this, I think $10 is steep, honestly. I do. I mean, maybe they'll. I think that if they would have charged $3,
it's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Probably would have had more.
I didn't buy it, and I haven't beaten the full game, so I can't really speak to the $10 value. I understand what Nintendo's doing in that they're just avoiding that race to the bottom. They feel like their product has a certain value. There is a decent amount of replayability, and it is a super polished title compared to most of the stuff on the App Store. I really like the fact that they are just charging a flat rate.
I like that too, but I also understand.
I wish more games were like that on mobile. Like, drives me nuts.
I also understand though that there are some aspects of this game, hearing from other people, that there are other aspects of this game that feel very much like a free-to-play game.
That they left in.
Yeah, that they left in. And there's no way to microtransaction it because Nintendo decided to pay. You can pay once for the whole game. But those free-to-play hooks, if you will, are there. But there's no way for you, if you wanted to, instead of grinding out things, there's no way for you to just be like, okay, I'm just going to pay the $2, get a bunch of these, and unlock these characters. Because I know there's other characters that you can play as, but you have to collect mushrooms. But then it sounds like you need to gamble said mushrooms.
Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad, Toadette, and Yoshi. Yeah, it's the Toad rally mode where you basically wager toads and race other people's ghosts.
Exactly.
And you can lose your toads. But apparently there isn't a very clear or easy system to understand how to get more, especially considering once you bought the game. Mm-hmm. And yeah, people were complaining about that being like, this is very free to play-ish, but
very free to play and kind of a grinding mechanic.
But you can't buy any more, and then it's like, okay, well, then you charge me for this, get everything, but then I kind of run out of toads, then I'm kind of locked out of this. It's like, so why did I pay $10? Yeah.
Right.
I like the game. I think it's cool. It's a great first attempt. I wish there was more depth. I wish it had more, like, I wish it had like suits and stuff like the 2D Mario games have, like more powers and stuff. There's essentially no powers. So I wish it had some of that stuff, but it's not terrible. Obviously, when it comes out for Android, I will buy it, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed what I played. Feel. It just, like I said, there was sort of those niggles, if you will.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but hey,
no. But who knows? Time. Maybe there'll be some updates that will adjust a few things. I don't know.
Be interesting in a week or two when we get some numbers to see how well it's doing.
Yeah,
it's got tons of downloads, but it'll be interesting to see what, like you said, like kind of conversion rate, like how many people are actually buying it. I'm not going to be surprised that it's going to be. I think it's going to be a pretty high number. It's Mario. I think people just are like, oh, $10, whatever.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see.
I think that's about it. I played some Destiny, but that's just because I hate myself.
You don't hate yourself.
I guess we can.
The holiday stuff is out. You're doing it.
It's okay.
Get some sparrow racing on.
A bunch of sparrow racing and a grinding strikes. I've done half of the holiday stuff in the book to unlock all the rewards.
Oh, okay.
If I was really hardcore and was playing it a lot, I probably easily could have done it already. So at least I have another 2 weeks to do the last few things that are left, which is okay.
Fair enough.
Because it goes into next year. But
it's
really, I don't know. It's freaking more in-game purchased loot boxes, and it's not amazing. And like exotic quests dangling carrots in front of your face. So, oh man,
sounds like more Destiny.
Yeah, I want Destiny too.
Yeah.
So we can get into the news and stuff.
The news.
No, I kind of have. Well, these are related, so let's get rid of that because that's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
We just talked about Mario Run, so I shared a link with a review roundup for Super Mario Run. So it'll be linked in the podcast, or if you had visited our Facebook or Twitter, you probably would have seen that story go up. 7s plus or minus, not bad.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Final Fantasy 15 Holiday Pack DLC and an update came out. This was obviously came out after we recorded this news.
Yes,
because the story says next week, but it's already out now. So they've added like a new game plus. There's a bunch of holiday items, stuff you get if you have the season pass, and then there's some stuff if you don't own the season pass.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of stuff if you own the season pass. I do not own the season pass for Final Fantasy.
I do not either, but then again, I don't own Final Fantasy, so it seems strange to me that they would make a season's pass for such a big RPG like that. But
well, they're apparently going to have a bunch of DLC, like more content.
Right.
Not just another way to get more money out of people. Yeah, there's tons of stuff if you own the season pass, like a bunch of new weapons and items.
Huh, that's crazy to me.
Outfits. It's really minor stuff, but it's all holiday themed.
Right. Oh, okay, that's cool.
I guess the new game plus is kind of nice for people who've beaten it and want to start over again for when they add in all the new story content and fixes that we talked about last week.
Yeah, that's true. No word on when that's coming out yet, by the way.
No update. Final Fantasy Square also announced on January 31st that they're going to kick off the Final Fantasy 30-year celebration. So obviously we'll get more details at the end of January as to what their plans are going to be.
Fair enough.
Final Fantasy turns 30 at the end of January. Ugh.
That makes me feel old.
Ugh, that makes me feel really old because I was a kid when it first came out. Also, man, this is the Japan JRPG podcast. Seriously.
That's that time of year.
Square,
all the big shooters have happened, and now we're getting into some of the more meaty Japanese games.
Square Enix had a little event in Japan and unveiled gameplay for Dragon Quest XI.
I saw this.
This is PS4 and 3DS. Which is kind of cool, obviously.
And
3DS
and Switch, they announced. It is also coming to the Nintendo Switch as well.
Did they say definitively?
Yes, they did.
They did? Okay, sure.
In this particular story on Kotaku, they do not. But there is. There is also a version of the game in development for the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
I would assume that it would... I actually have no idea which version of the game. Because that's the weird thing with this. Dragon Quest XI is getting a PS4 version, and it's getting a 3DS version. And the 3DS version looks totally different than the PS4 version. So I'm not sure which one the Nintendo Switch would get.
I imagine they'd get a dumbed-down version of the PS4 one.
Yeah.
I like Dragon Quest games.
Yeah, I haven't played one in quite a while, but I want to play another one.
Did they say anything about date here? I don't think they did. I think they just unveiled it. I think this is, if we're lucky, next year.
I think this is coming out in Japan quite a bit before us, and then we're going to have to wait for it to be...
Surprise.
Yeah, localized and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's scheduled for release in Japan sometime in 2017. Not even a specific date for Japan yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But that game's looking really cool.
I shared a story here. I don't know if you had a chance to read it because it is ginormous. Basically about the state of the game industry and contracting positions and contractors in general.
This is an awesome story.
Mm-hmm. It goes because
you're not lying. It is a bit long, but I did read it actually, and I think anybody interested in video games should. It's a story they should read. It is a great story.
Yeah, like a huge portion of the video game workforce are contractors. And this applies to like programmers, testers, like just every facet of the industry. Voice work, voice actors, motion capture actors, and so forth. There's a lot. Obviously, there's studios with lots of full-time employees, of course, that are on all the time, like marketing, PR, and, dedicated like management heads of departments and so forth. But more and more, this industry is turning to contractors. There's no unionization. It's just kind of rugged, not knowing where your next gig's going to be 6 months when your contract runs out. I don't know.
The reality of this that sucks is it's dirty. The whole thing is dirty.
Companies do it. My company uses contractors. Like it's.
Oh, I get it. I'm not saying
it's a way to avoid benefits. A way to avoid full-time employees that are unionized that you can't get rid of, especially when they're problem employees.
Yeah.
It is gross. It kind of sucks. It's too bad it has to be that it is. It doesn't have to be like this.
No,
that it is like this. I really wish.
I think the worst part about it is the dangling carrot that ends up happening in these situations where people work at these companies and they work alongside full-time employees, but they're not. They're actually contractors, but they're for all intents and purposes, they're employees that are just more or less not getting any of the benefits of being an employee.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it means that they're not allowed to work for more than 9 months on a certain thing at one time. So they'll work their 9-month contract, then they'll have to have 3 months off before they can get rehired. There's obviously no benefits. There's obviously no paid time off. There's all that kind of stuff that goes along with it. They're supposed to be working on these games, but they're not supposed to go to they're not supposed to go on meetings. They're not supposed to attend company meetings or go on company activities or anything like that. But of course, a lot of times they are, because they're supposed to be working on this game and they're supposed to be a part of this thing, building this game. And to not have them in meetings and things like that, I can imagine would make it very difficult to do their job. And then of course you've got the whole other side of things where you get hired on as a contractor, probably by a third party, because that's how a lot of this stuff works, is that you end up getting hired by a third party company that deals with contracts, and then you get subcontracted to EA, or you get subcontracted to Ubisoft or whoever. So you actually work for a third party, but you're at EA or you're at Ubisoft. And of course, a lot of times what ends up happening is people at these companies where you're working, EA, Ubisoft, Activision, wherever, they'll do the whole thing that says, well, right now we can't hire you, but when your contract's up, we'd love to hire you as an employee. But then, of course, that almost never happens, and some people end up working contract work for years, and some people like it. Some people don't mind because they can do 9 months here, they can do a year there, they can choose where they want to work and what they want to do. They also have, if they're not allowed to work for more than 9 months, it allows them to have 3 months off. So for certain people, it's a great gig and they really like it. But for those people trying to get their foot in the door and they just want to build video games and that's their whole gig, and they see this as a way to get in there, the whole idea behind contractors is that they're supposed to be part-timers or some way that a company can increase body very quickly and, of course, get rid of it without any side effects, more or less, right? Which I understand, especially in the game industry, there is a ton of time where, okay, now we're out of pre-production, now we got to get into heavy production.
Yeah.
Now we need to bulk up, we need to hire a whole bunch of people on to actually build the game. But once we hit a certain point, we're going to need to get rid of all these people because we can't afford to keep them on until we're in this spot on our next game. And when you have a huge company, like some of the bigger publishers have teams of people that more or less just go from project to project where they're sort of needed. But if you're a smaller publisher especially, this is a way that they can obviously get the bodies that they need to help working on it when they need them, and obviously shave them off when they don't. But I think that a lot of companies abuse it really heavily, especially in the video game industry. Like you said, lots of companies do it, and not just in the video game industry, but it seems to be really, really prevalent in the video game industry.
They know everyone wants the job. Everyone, like, it's a dream job. Everyone wants to work at the video game company.
Oh, totally.
And then they get like duped. It's like, okay, you're working on, I'm just going to use this example. It's totally made up. You're going to be working on The Last of Us 2. You're going to be doing our like cutscene renders and videos and stuff. You're like, oh, freaking sweet. This is awesome. I'm so happy, blah, blah, blah. And you get the gig and like, oh, you don't work for Naughty Dog. You work for Flotty Dog. We're a contracting company that contracts to them. So you're not actually a Naughty Dog employee, but you're going to be working on that game.
You're going to be working at Naughty Dog with all the Naughty Dog employees, but you're not actually going to be an employee.
This isn't true at all either. We're just making this up, but this is the kind of situation that some people are getting into. There's no like specific examples here of really companies I guess
because obviously
I think
people
these people
wanna...
are still working here and they don't want to probably get in trouble or endanger their position. But yeah,
for sure.
It kind of sucks. It's a very interesting read. And this happens again in all industries, but it's just really gross. It seems to be very abused in the gaming industry. It kind of sucks. It's
the thing is like,
and it's disheartening, like you said with the carrot. Like, oh, okay, after the game's out of beta, we'll hire you on full time then. Oh, okay, once the game is released, we'll hire you then. Once the game starts bringing in some money, then we'll hire you full time employee then. And it's
we'll probably fire you.
And that's never it's never happening for a lot of people too. So there's that.
Yeah. The thing is,
really,
a lot of people say the movie industry does a very similar thing. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, with the movie industry,
they're unionized.
Exactly. They have unions, and their rights are protected by it. And it allows them to work in the contracts, and they disperse onto other contracts.
Yeah, and quite often you've got the next thing lined up.
Exactly.
Oh, Rogue One's a wrap. We don't need to be, standing around with our hands in our pockets while, they're storyboarding the next movie.
No, we're going to go over to the next here
thing.
And do it.
We're on to the next thing. Doing whatever your role may be. It's like, but it keeps rolling. Whereas with games, isn't quite the same. It's not as quick to fire up and to spin up and spin down, I think, as a game development project is.
Well, the thing is in a film, a lot of times films are 3, maybe 1 month, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. But most films aren't all that long in the grand scheme of things.
And not all films need all forms of employment at all given times.
Exactly.
So
whereas games, a lot of times, they need designers for 2 or 3 years at a time. So I think it's hard, and reading this article, it definitely brought up a lot of interesting things where I think that there should definitely be more.
I really wish there was like a union for video game industry employment, but
I'm really surprised there's not. I don't understand why there's not.
Well, the big companies and corporations that are involved with creating these games, this billion-dollar industry, are probably working their hardest. Management and executives are working their hardest to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
As dirty as that seems, that's their job because they have a liability to stockholders, which, in my opinion, liability to stockholders is like the root of all evil. It's the thing that it's like a ghost, and it's almost like terrorism and Al Qaeda. It's the excuse for the nasty shit they do.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Oh, it's for stockholder value for the. We got to report to the board and the stockholders, and we got to make these cuts. And it's like, okay, well, you never cut the executives, you never cut the management, you cut the people with their boots to the ground that are doing the work in the trenches. And that's the thing that drives me nuts about corporate society. And these are giant corporations in a billion-dollar industry, so they sure as hell don't want unionization, and they. Obviously,
they'd have to share fairly, man.
They're working their hardest against it, but man, at this point, it didn't get. I think the gaming industry kind of hurt themselves, in that the people who came up in the gaming industry are like, "Oh man, we're making games, we're having fun, we love this."
Yeah,
and that love of like we're the garage band, the guys in the garage tinkering and programming, and the creators of id and all that stuff. Like these guys were just so excited with their craft and to be creating that they weren't paying attention to the big machine, the monstrosity of the business that popped up around them.
Well, and I think you got to remember that a lot of them are the ones that are part of the problem, though,
and locked them down to their desks and have now made it. I think it's a very uphill battle, some ways, or almost impossible.
Yeah, and I think in some ways, and I'm not saying that this goes for everybody, but I think in some regards, they're part of the issue. They worked really hard and long hours and ridiculous back in the day,
and they put up with
to get this thing going. Now that it's going, they don't want anybody to unionize, and they expect everybody to work the same way. But they think that they forget
that those people
these people aren't owners. These people aren't.
No, they're not the. They're not the. They are employees. People that,
right.
Not
and
the same.
You can't expect the same level of of that.
You guys are on crunch for like 3 months because the game's going to come out and you love it and you're so happy for it. It's like, I got to go home. I got a wife and kids.
Exactly.
I can't work 14 hours every day because I'm not John Carmack who's going to see all the money from this project. Or again, making scenarios up.
Yeah.
Because these, like you said, they're employees. They're not the top dogs who benefit the most from all that crunch time either, let alone the people that are even compensated fairly for all the crunch time they put into video games is insane. It's a
How
really
many
cool
hours of overtime does everybody put in?
It's a cool story. It's a cool story. You should check it out. Video games are hard as balls to make, and I don't know. I wish there was something we could do.
There needs to be some change in the industry is what I think. I think that there needs to be people out there.
I don't know how do you even start that? I don't even know how to start that.
I don't know. It has to start
because like I could stop buying games. I can stop buying games and say I don't buy games because you guys don't support unionized workers. But that's not going to change anything.
No. It has to start with
it's the workers.
Somebody, either the workers or the company. That a company needs to step up and say
it's got to be someone big. Like it can't just be a company.
No,
it's got to be like a president or a CEO or a company who's obviously already well off, probably near retirement because he doesn't care if he gets let go. But he's got to get the ball rolling and going like, you know what? We got to change this. We got to respect our employees. It's got to be someone who's going to fall on the sword for the movement because that's what's going to happen for the first few people that really go up in arms with this.
Oh yeah, anybody that pushes it hard is definitely
they're most likely going to see the door. But then again, you know what? Maybe like a bunch of the heads that aren't the big head honchos go and form their own studios that are unionized, and then maybe the trend catches on. I don't know. Maybe I would love to see it happen, and that there was more respect for these workers. These people work so hard to make the stuff that we love.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a good article. You should check it out.
On a lighter note, Eurogame, the Nintendo Switch official spoilerados. These guys just have
they are on a roll right now.
They have the inside line and seem to know everything. They apparently have learned the specs. More specifically, like clock speeds and features of the Nintendo Switch.
This is an interesting
it's
reveal.
And is it true? I don't know. They've been pretty right on a lot of stuff.
They haven't been pretty right. They've been on the nose with everything so far.
It makes me kind of upset because apparently it's the X1, the Tegra X1 chipset, which is in the current Shield. It's not the new Tegra, which everyone was assuming it was going to be.
Everybody thought that the reason the Switch was pushed to next year or is coming out next year was so that they could have the X2 in it, the Tegra X2, which was running on the new Pascal architecture from NVIDIA. Mm-hmm. The current X1 is running on the Maxwell architecture, which is the same architecture that the 9 series cards are on.
NVIDIA cards, for those of you who aren't familiar.
Yeah. This, I'm not surprised. I think that the biggest reason that it's an X1 is to keep costs down. I think that it was, if they would have waited for the X2, I think that yes, they probably would have had a fairly significant increase in performance. But I think at what cost, from a cost perspective, really, I think that it suddenly would have made the Nintendo Switch a $500 console. And anybody that knows Nintendo, they sort of play in their own pool, and they're okay with their consoles running at whatever they decide that they want to run them at. That being said, I still feel like it's a little disappointing though, because the Tegra X1 has already been out for
it's been out
quite a while. It's already well over a year old at this point. So, I mean, to be fair, it sounds like NVIDIA is working very, very closely with Nintendo to not only modify the X1 to suit their needs, but also they're laying down a much lower level API that will allow Nintendo to get a lot more out of the processor than Android or the like is able to utilize, just because of all the other APIs in between. So it's going to be a much lower level API that will it shouldn't say supposedly, it's definitely going to help them get a lot more out of it. The most interesting thing for me was the revelation that the GPU clocks between when it's on the dock and when it's undocked or when you're taking it to go is significant.
Yeah, it's like a 40% hit.
Yeah, like
that's
it's huge. It's a huge
I don't want to
hit.
spend too much time on numbers, so we don't really need to drown in this. But yeah, a 40% difference is pretty significant. What really disappoints
it's running around
me,
300 megahertz when it's off the dock.
Yeah, compared to 768. And this is GPU clock speeds, which the GPUs do a lot of the heavy lifting.
What's interesting though is that and again, these are not official numbers yet, so we are going off of whatever
speculation.
Yes, but again, they've been very much. They've very much been very good about what they've revealed so far, being pretty much on the nose. What's the biggest interest to me is that they've already downclocked the GPU at 768 when it's on the dock.
Compared
That's
to like
weird.
The gigahertz that it can run.
Yeah, it's over a gigahertz.
1020 megahertz.
Yeah, so it's interesting that they're already downclocking it to 768.
And they have the ARM cores in this chip they use. It says on the left here, if you look, it says they have a max of a 2 gigahertz.
Well, that's the other thing, is the processors in it are also downclocked significantly. They're running at half speed. And the only thing that anybody can really think about it is that it must be to try and keep the thermal and power stuff in order.
Yeah, clearly.
Because the thing is that the way that a lot of developers utilize the processor, they use that for physics, they use it for all kinds of things. So they need the processor speed to be the same all the time. So that's one thing that's not going to change between the dock and undocked switch. Mm-hmm. So when you pull it off the dock, it's going to be the same speed as when it's on the dock for the processor. And again, that's going to be right around 1,000 megahertz, which is half the speed, which is surprising. But again, when you take it off the dock, it's suddenly not as surprising. But something else that was pointed out to me as well, though, is that when you do pull it off the dock, you are only running a 720p screen.
Mm-hmm. So taking a hit in GPU speed is...
But you're also cutting 4 times... What is that? It's about 40% of the pixels you're cutting out as well, going from 1080p to 720p.
So there's going to be a degradation, though. I don't think... Even though it is only 720, I don't think that drop in speed is enough to compensate fully.
Yeah.
I don't know. It annoys me. I hope this is wrong. Not that it's going to really impact the games. The games are still going to be great, and they're going to run well because Nintendo makes awesome games. Their production is like through the roof. But
here's the thing you also have to remember too.
Why is it an X2? Like, at least an X2. Like, it should be a little more... Obviously, all this stuff boils down to...
It's faster than the Wii U. That's ultimately what it boils down to.
I guess if you put
you're going to have a processor...
If you put it in that perspective, then good enough. The Wii U has fantastic games, and Nintendo has pulled off some fantastic stuff on the Wii U. So I guess at the end of the day, if you just break it down like that, all that time we just spent talking about bullshit doesn't matter. It's better than a Wii U, and it's portable. So that's pretty good to me.
Yeah.
But I really wish it was next to you.
I think everybody does.
So I kind of hope this is wrong. So,
but like I said, I think ultimately this comes down to the fact that I think the X2 would just be too expensive.
Yeah, they're probably trying to keep some costs down. Okay.
And another spin on this you got to remember is that they're looking at people are saying, well, why isn't it at least as fast as a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One?
Yeah, well, they're out to lunch.
The thing is that an Xbox One
PS4
uses technology and has a power draw roughly 75 to 80 watts.
Yeah, you're not getting that out of a portable battery.
Whereas this needs to have a power draw of around 5 to 10 watts.
I think in 10 years, you can probably have something as powerful as a PS4 or an Xbox One portably. But not now. Not now. Those things just...
Maybe even 5 years. You'd be surprised at how quickly that technology is moving. But again, not for $300.
No.
You'll be... Already, cell phones and that technology is incredibly close to and incredibly powerful compared to even your Xbox One or your PlayStation 4.
Not
the thing
quite,
is, though, is that those are $1,000 devices.
Like an iPhone 7 or leading edge Samsung or Google phone, like off contract, unsubsidized.
They're $1,000, $1,200.
They're $900 to $1,200. Absolutely. Yep. So they're not as powerful as a PS4 and an Xbox, which is $300, $400.
Exactly.
So, but obviously, once you go portable, it gets very difficult. The battery technology is the big limiting thing there. There hasn't been a big
how long and how much you
current
can push out
power.
of it.
Yeah, there just hasn't been a huge breakthrough with battery technology, as witnessed by blowing up Samsung Galaxy Note 7s.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the NES Classic last week.
We were. That's the thing that a lot of people are super trying to get their hands on.
Lineups in New York, random ordering online that people are failing at because websites crash. Gizmodo put in a little handy guide on how to build your own mini SNES, they call it.
Very nice.
Which is essentially just a mini Raspberry Pi powered emulation box.
Yep.
They have a little guide here, everything you need, where to get it from, based around a Raspberry Pi 3. You can use a 2, but a 3 is a little more, I think it's a little more powerful, has more ports and so forth.
Yeah, it is. One of the guys at work has done exactly this.
They even have a link where you can buy cases that people are 3D printing and selling online. Actually, well, they're pretty expensive. $57, so $22, 3D printed SNES case. Or you could just use the freaking Raspberry Pi case that comes with it. Anyway, you basically get a USB controller, download a bunch of files, and load up your Raspberry Pi, and you create a perfect little emulation machine. Yeah. My sister-in-law actually has, I think, multiple Raspberry Pis she likes screwing around with. She has one for like a media server. So it's like hooked up to her, instead of an Apple TV. She can't afford an Apple TV. She's got like a Raspberry Pi that she's put Kodi on.
Yeah, so they work great. I mean, if you're a tinkerer, they're awesome.
I don't know. I might make one of these just for fun.
They're cheap. Raspberry Pis are super cheap.
I have so many like controllers and shit lying around. I could make one of these just for fun. This might be a holiday project.
Yeah, it's a fun little holiday project.
They have pretty fancy front ends on these emulators.
I mean, like obviously, I said, I mess with them for work on a fairly regular basis. So
I don't know how you feel about emulation, but I don't know. Some of these games you just can't buy anymore, let alone if your old Nintendo still works, and or just the fact that you're pissed off at Nintendo freaking making you want to pull your hair out trying to get a NES Classic, and this can be your big fat middle finger to them. Anyway, that's linked in the show notes and on the Facebooks and the Twitter. So that's about it for news.
Yeah, it's not been too much news today.
It's been pretty light on the news. We got some public service announcements. By the time this show goes live, the Steam Winter Sale will have started. Starts December 22nd, the same day as when this episode will be live. Xbox also has a huge winter sale break going over the break as well, starting same day, the 22nd. PlayStation hasn't specifically announced anything, but I would be amazed if they didn't have something going on as well. all the digital marketplaces tend to. We're getting into Boxing Day and holiday break. They know people got Christmas money. They got to burn. They got to spend.
Exactly.
So obviously, everyone should be busy buying gifts or busy hanging out with family to be buying any games right now. So if you're thinking about buying something, I would wait for one of these sales to start until Boxing Day at the very least before you spend any money. Gravity Rush 2 is going to have a demo on PlayStation Network.
Yes, I'm actually really excited about this.
Posted by Nick on the PlayStation. Our buddy Nick on the PlayStation blog posted this story.
Heck yeah. He's the producer, so
anyway,
he better be posting it.
Yeah, there's a demo coming out, so you can check that out.
That comes out tomorrow, so the 22nd.
Very well received title. It was on Vita. Excuse me. Recently remastered. Yeah, the original Gravity Rush. Recently remastered and released on PS4.
Yep.
And now they're bringing Gravity Rush 2 to PS4. It comes out in January. And actually, it was kind of neat. They delayed this game. It was supposed to come out, I think, this month.
Wait, I thought it was coming out in February.
Is it February? Okay, sorry. It was supposed to come out this year.
The actual game, Gravity Rush 2,
It's been delayed until next year. And as a sorry for delaying it, they're giving like the premium DLC, like it's like more story missions or more story and so forth. They're giving that away for free as opposed to selling it as an apology for delaying it. It's a beautiful game. The first one's really well received, so there's a demo for that.
The first one is really cool. I felt that the controls
I never played. Did you play it on PS4?
No, I didn't.
That's the
I
thing.
played it only on the Vita.
I wonder how much it would how much better it would work on PS4. Or is
I feel like having a proper controller would do that game a ton of justice.
Oh, absolutely.
I only ever played it on the Vita, and I really liked it, but I did find that I felt like I was fighting the controls a lot is all.
Yeah. The dual stick quick motion on the Vita can be pretty annoying. And then I guess the last PSA would be Xbox Live announced their January's games with gold. Death Trap, World of Van Helsing Death Trap. It's like a tower defense game of some sorts. It looks like there's a lot of shit on screen. I have no idea what's going on.
Sweet.
Killer Instinct Season 2. Killer Instinct
Ultra Edition.
Yeah, Ultra combo. Killer Instinct's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, quality fighting game coming your way. And those are
especially
Xbox.
If you grabbed Season 1, I believe it was last year at this time.
Was it last year this
now
time?
This
or
is
even,
Season 2.
I think it was more recent than that.
Maybe.
But yeah, the Season 1 was part of Xbox. So I think it's more characters, skins, so forth, game modes.
Yeah.
The Cave is 360 back compat title. And then Rayman Origins as well. So not
that
terrible.
That was a good game.
Rayman is awesome.
Rayman Origins on the Vita, actually.
Yeah, I think they gave away Legends, which is the one after Origins, I believe.
Right.
It was an Xbox One games with gold at some point. So now you got both of them. Both excellent multiplayer platform games. So Origins is fun. It's I think is it up to 4 or is it just 2? I can't remember. I think it might be 4. So those are coming for January. And we did not get PlayStation. PlayStation will probably announce their stuff next week or tomorrow. That's a big FU to us.
Yeah, probably tomorrow then.
What else? That's it for PSAs. I guess we can move into the free-for-all. Stupid Dane didn't see Rogue One, so we can't really talk about it.
I wanted to. I tried to convince my wife that we should go see it on Friday night.
I'm going to talk about it, but and
then I tried to figure out other times that we could go, and then we ended up just having a bunch of stuff that we had to do, and it just never came to fruition.
It was actually
I'm probably going to see about buying tickets for either Friday or Saturday before the week is up here. So
we'll talk about it on the next show, but. The both of us, but I'm just gonna say, it is a great Star Wars film, Star Wars universe film,
and that's what I've been hearing.
It's really good. and it's different, but it's also got a lot of the stuff we love about Star Wars. I don't really want to get into spoilers. I don't know how I would rank it. To me, the original trilogy is just one movie to me. I just love it as a whole. I don't really have a favorite. How some people are like, Empire's my favorite, and some people are like, no, Jedi, and people are like, oh my god, Jedi's like an abomination, and some people like the first one. I feel like the original trilogy is like one thing to me. I don't know. I like them all the same. They all have their strengths and weaknesses. It's a fantastic movie. I really want to get into nitty gritties about it. Like, there's so many cool things they did. But I'll have to wait until you watch it. I think it's a great movie. If you like Star Wars, you're gonna like it. There may be some things that you might want to nitpick, but I don't know. Some of the stuff people have been complaining about online, if you have seen some of the complaints of the movie, they didn't bother me at all. I'm excited.
I've been very good about keeping it pretty spoiler free. So
I'm excited for you to see it, and then we can have like a real chat about it. But I love it. It's great. It's a good flick.
I've heard really good things. So
I haven't seen a lot of movies this year, but it's my favorite movie this year.
Fair enough.
And I guess the other thing I want to talk about is my buddy got a DJI Mavic. They're not available in Canada yet. I guess he ordered it directly from them. For those of you who don't know what this is, it's DJI. They make drones. They're known famously for the Phantom series.
Yep.
And then obviously the Inspire series, which is like basically Hollywood style drone.
Yeah, they're much bigger.
$3,000 drone.
Camera.
Like, that's what they use in place of a lot of helicopters and a lot of professional productions. Anyway, the Mavic was just announced maybe a month or two ago. It's
much smaller.
It is a portable drone. You can essentially fit it in your pocket.
Yes.
If you had like cargo pants.
But it also has a pretty sweet camera that is stabilized.
Mm-hmm. It's not like tiny by any means. It's not going to fit in your jean pocket, but it will easily fit into a small backpack or like almost like a DSLR camera bag, to give you an idea.
Yeah, it's a much smaller.
It folds up, and it's got a 4K camera. It's got a gimbal, 3-axis gimbal, 27-minute flight time, 7-kilometer range. It goes pretty fast, like 65 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, they move, man.
This thing is amazeballs.
Yeah.
I ran into my buddy in traffic and was just like wanting to talk to him. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, check this out. And he like pulls it out of his vehicle and he's like, just fires it up and like flies away, like just shoots straight up in the sky. And he's like, check this out. And he's like showing me the video on, cause you use your smartphone as the screen. Mm-hmm. Or any like smart device as a screen. It has all that GPS shit, return to home functionality, like crash avoidance sensors on the front, not on the back.
Hey man, when you've got super expensive crap like that, you got to do something to keep it from
some of
crashing.
Some of the fancy ones have like avoidance detection on the back of them as well. But this thing's small, like it's tiny, and it has amazing video. You can like it records to the camera, like on the drone itself, higher quality video, but it'll beam like 720p to your smart device, like ready for you to upload. Just even that 720p video looks so good. It is a cool freaking drone, and I hate the fact that my freaking buddy has one. And then I got to see it, and I got to see how cool it is and how good it works.
Because now you really want one?
Oh my god, I want one so freaking hardcore, like really bad.
But then the question you gotta ask yourself is, what are you gonna do with it?
I can't justify it.
Because it's $1,000 American?
It would be like really cool to like shoot video and just do silly stuff, but
for sure.
I don't need it. I want it. but I can't justify wanting it. But if you're in the market for a drone, oh my God, this thing is pretty freaking cool. He doesn't live too far away from me. He flew it to my house. He lives like a 5-minute drive from my house. He flew the fucking thing to my house.
Yeah.
It was crazy. He's like, hey, it was so funny. Me and the wife just came back from walking the dog. Right. And then she's like, opened the garage door, like into the house. She was like cleaning and getting the dog out of his leash and stuff. And I was inside with the baby. And she's like, are you fucking around with your drone? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm sitting here with the baby. She's like, there's a drone in our backyard. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, there's a drone flying around our house.
Right.
And I'm like, it's got to be Scott. I mean, Timmy. And anyway, I go poke my head out the window. I was like, of course, there it is, flying around the house. I wave at it, and then he like buzzes off. I don't know how long he was. I think he was flying around my house for a couple minutes, like just trying to get my attention.
Right.
But it was so funny. And then
those are super cool.
Oh,
but at the same time, for me at least, unless you're making money off of it or you're
it's a super luxury. It's a super luxury niche toy.
Oh, totally,
absolutely.
Like I have friends of mine that are in the film and into cinema and TV and whatnot, and in those cases, it could for sure be super useful to have a friend that has something like that you could utilize for those times when, hey, we're shooting this cool video. Can you come and bring that? And can we shoot some stuff on it? That would be awesome. But for you and I, what am I going to... I would love to have one.
Yeah, it's a really ridiculous
I'm with you.
toy.
They're super cool. But what on earth am I going to do with it? It is literally $1,000 toy for me. I'm not going to be utilizing it
like less useful than like having a VR headset or something, right?
Totally.
It's so cool though. Like he was flying around the house and then he like buzzed off, and literally it's so small. It got to a point that I couldn't see it in the clouds anymore, like in the sky anymore. It like disappears. And then he sends me the video he sends me a link to the video on my phone where he's like flying back to the hill that he was sitting on, controlling it. His dogs are all running. You can see in the video his dogs are running around and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that's freaking hilarious. It's so cool.
Yeah.
He has business uses for it. It's not just a crazy toy for him.
No, for sure. But see, in those cases, that totally makes sense, right?
If you're in the market for one of these, though, man, this thing is pretty freaking sweet. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. It's so impressive. The video quality was unreal. And I've only seen like the 720p like shit that's beamed to the phone. I haven't even seen the stuff that's like been recorded locally.
Yeah.
Like I imagine that is even better.
How's the smoothing on it? Is it pretty good?
Oh my God. It looks like it's a professional camera system, like on a fly-by-wire, like a gimbal or fly-by-wire system. It is so smooth. It literally feels like the video is like the camera in a video game flying around the world on no clip mode. Like that's how smooth awesome. The motion on this thing is. It's ridiculous how impressive it is. It's really funny because he got this, and then I happened to be working in a person's house the next day who is actually a professional videographer for TV series, like for a TV show. Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I got all those things. Cause
for sure.
As like, we were talking about, I don't know how we got on drones, and I'm like, yeah, my buddy got the Mavic, and he's like, oh yeah, that's freaking cool. He's like, you want to see something cool? And I'm like, okay. And we go into his like back room of his house, and he pulls out all these like big giant like plastic hard suitcases, like the gear cases. Yeah. He's got an Inspire there. He's like, yeah, this thing's like $5,000. He's like, this is what I use to do some of our shots. He's like, I lost one in the ocean already. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, can you imagine like losing $5,000 in the ocean?
Clearly, well, $5,000, not even the bad one.
He runs a production company. So obviously, different world than you or I.
But still.
And he's like, yeah, this thing's $5,000. But then they came out with a new one that's only like $1,500, and this one makes that one obsolete. And he's like,
oh yeah.
He's like, the $1,500 one is as good as the $5,000 one. He's like, man, this technology moves so fast. That's why
it's crazy right now. That's how fast that technology is.
That's why I mentioned how impressive this Mavic is, even though it's not the most expensive. You're getting some pretty amazing quality. He was telling me he's waiting. They just announced the new Inspire, which is like this is the professional big ass one. He was telling me how it has like handles on it, so basically it'll like fly in, and then the camera guy can take it over for like in close shots.
Yep.
And then basically just let it go and it flies away for like, their pan out shots and stuff. He says It's pretty impressive what the new one does. And he's like, I'll be getting one of those. And I'm like, you suck. I'm like, that's a fun career, like getting to work with that stuff.
Oh, anyway. Yeah, that's really cool. I love all that.
I bought a toy drone once for like $50, and I think I talked about it on the show. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. They're hanging on my wall right now.
With that,
I think that's a show, my friend.
I'm going to say that's a show. I don't know how you feel about recording next week, holiday week.
My wife is hoping that we're going to take the week off.
Yeah, I was thinking I'm going to be super busy, so I think it'd be easier if we just take a week off and get back together in the new year.
Should we do our game of the year when we come back?
Yeah, we should start mulling it over.
Sweet. I'm down with that.
Should we save it for the first episode or the next one? Well, if we're ready for the next episode, then we're ready. If we're not, we'll do the one after that.
Exactly, because that's how we roll.
Obviously, everyone have a safe and awesome Christmas. Remember to take a break from the devices, be present, pay attention to your family and loved ones. It's only a couple days.
But that being said, if your family and loved ones aren't awesome, you can still totally listen to our podcast. Well, so there's that too.
But you can do this while driving. You can do this while doing errands or chores, obviously. But just when you're at your family dinner, just put the cell phone down. Put it in your pocket. Be present. It's a day, maybe two. You don't get to see these people all the time. Tell them you love them. Obviously, just enjoy the time. Your saved game will be there when you get back. There is no competition to be first or to beat a game or anything like that. Just, I don't know. Sometimes as gamers, we get our priorities mixed up and ignore things that are really important in life. I know I do it sometimes, and I try to be very cognizant of what I'm doing. It's way more apparent, obviously, now having a kid. And I still get to play lots of games. You just got to get your balance and your timing, right?
Yeah. I agree with that.
Learn how to stay up late and function off very little sleep.
There's also that too. Ideally, get up super early.
Ideally become a vampire. But yeah, no, man, have an awesome Christmas, everyone. Have an amazing New Year. 2016 was one of my best years of my life. A lot of people have been complaining about 2016. It's been awesome. I'll be happy for it to be over and for a new year to start. But yeah, everyone have an excellent time. Remember to follow me on Twitter at RickF, no K, RICF.
And as always, you can hit me up on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DAYNECODY.
And like us up. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's been a slice this year. It's been great. And I look forward to many, many more podcasts and hanging out with you guys next year, too.
Obviously, yes. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, review us on iTunes, share us with a friend. I think I might magically come up with a very special giveaway.
Ooh.
But I got to figure out how to do it. I don't want to do a retweet and a follow contest. I want to do a subscribe to the show and leave a review on iTunes contest.
Ah, there you go.
So I think I might come up with a really amazing prize.
We'll figure something out.
Anyway, we'll be gone for 2 weeks, so don't forget we won't be here next week. And obviously have a happy, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Catch you guys later.
We are out. Peace.